Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. How are you all doing this morning? I'll put some light on the situation. It's a bit better. Let me just double check something. There we go. All's good. Lots of people in the chat this morning. Well, did you watch the game last night? What a bore fest for 75 minutes. Complete bore fest. And I've got to say, Hearts stole the game at the end. Hearts completely stole it. Fair play to Hearts. I thought Hibs had the better chances. Oof, Hibs should have had a couple of goals, but poor in the final third. And good defending by Hearts, you could say. Hearts are top of the table by even more points this morning. I'll get the Premiership table up. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Celtic right now. We are 2 games behind, remember, when you see this table. We are 2 games behind Hearts. And Hearts currently on 57 points with a goal difference of 28, having scored the 1 goal last night against the run of play. Hibs should have defended better. It was a piss poor game, and Hibs should have won it. But sometimes as a team, and Celtic have done this over the years. Over the years, Celtic have played poorly and grind out results. And that's what Hearts are doing. They are grinding out results. It is going to be up to Celtic to try and overhaul getting back into second position at this point. As you can see, Rangers are on 51 points. Celtic are on 48 points. Very unfamiliar territory for Celtic fans, isn't it? Especially at this stage of the season. I mean, the games that we lost, having lost 6 games, and you've got to say, when you've only lost 2 games a season, when you've only lost 3 games a season, that's contender material for winning the league. Losing 6 games a season isn't really contender for winning the league. But you never ever know in Scottish football. You never know. But we'll wait and see, as they say. It's not good reading this morning that Wednesday, the 11th of February, Celtic are playing tonight. And when we do play tonight, just get on there, you can see tonight, the referee for the game tonight is Callum Scott. On the lines is Jonathan Bell and Ross Nielsen. And then VAR is Chris Graham and Gary Hilland. Why is there only 2 on VAR in Scottish football? It shows you how bad Scottish football is. Because when they show you, this is I'm going off on a tangent here, but when they actually show you the VAR studio in Spanish football. They show you the studio, they show you who's on VAR. There's no hiding whatsoever. And there's generally 3 on any game. In Scottish football, there's 2. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, we get on with it. Martin O'Neill was obviously talking to Celtic, to the media yesterday. Did anybody notice if the BBC were in? He was talking about the recruitment for the summer, and he says that the club has to be more robust in their business. And he's expecting the club to change the way that it will go forward. Is there big changes coming at Celtic Football Club that we aren't privy to? There is suggestions that the Moonchester, that's a cracking channel name, the Moonchester. Good morning from Manchester. Is there stuff going on in the background that the Celtic board aren't telling us? There has been speculation that Michael Nicholson may leave the club in this summer. I think it's too late. I think that he should have no part to play at all. And if he is to leave Celtic, why doesn't he just do it now so that we can get people in place? Because this is a massive summer for Celtic Football Club, especially if we don't win the league, because you're then having to qualify for Europa, and you've got quite a few qualifiers unless Celtic do the unthinkable and ultimately win the Europa. And that would be a good way for Martin O'Neill to finally hang up his boots and his managerial tracksuit for forever to go out and win the Europa. Now, not a lot of fans are saying, like, what's the point of Europa? Martin O'Neill addressed that yesterday and they said, look, there is a point in Europa because for all the good results that we had, Martin O'Neill says, look, some people say there's no point in you even focusing on Europa if you're not going to win it. Martin O'Neill says, hold my $6.99 coffee from a coffee chain down in London. I'll be up the road in a minute. Doesn't he? Whatever happens over the next couple of weeks, to tell you one thing, it will determine where we finish in the league. It will determine what we win this season, and it will determine ultimately if we win anything this season. The Green Brigade, it doesn't look like the Green Brigade will be back in tonight. The boards are all talk. The board are all talk. Board are good at making statements, and then following through with the statements is the issue. Let's jump into some of the coffees. Fuck, paid that for a shite coffee. What would be bigger, Celtic winning the Europa League or Hearts winning the title? Oof. Mo says that we're going to finish first. Danny Cassie's come in with a super chat. Thank you for that, Danny. And Mo says that we are going to finish first. Baza. We might finish first, but I'm still hedging my bets. I'm still positive that Martin O'Neill can do it, but it has to be said. Do we have the squad? And does Martin O'Neill have the players with the ability? The Europa's let's just get past Stuttgart first, because we could get absolutely mullered by Stuttgart. We're miles off winning the Europa. It'd be nice to go on a run though. I mean, Martin O'Neill will want to take us as far as he can. So just enjoy the journey. I mean, I know guys that have booked up for Stuttgart and everything already, so without knowing how many tickets that we are going to get, but they will be there anyway. The Green Brigade need to stop all the radical left Marxist nonsense. Like what? Isn't Celtic's foundation left wing? Isn't the way that Celtic were brought into being left wing? I love this nonsense that comes out of the UK, and I see it on quite a few channels actually, and it's, oh, you're fucking lefties. And this is the same people that probably voted Labour under Tony Blair. Left. Do you know what I mean? This nonsense needs to stop in Scotland. You're either left or right. You're just fucking people with an opinion. Stop this leftist nonsense. Because I can guarantee you the amount of people that pout this nonsense about being lefties are the exact type of people that voted for Tony Blair back in the day. Anyway, just one game at a time, getting back to football, politics. First qualifying round for the Champions League before the end of the World Cup. Chris just loves coming in from Australia and just giving us some absolutely fantastic news. The first qualifying round for the Champions League is before the end of the World Cup. Round 2 is 2 days after Martinez is looking iffy. Martinez is looking iffy. Well, if you went by some of the headlines yesterday, it looks like Martinez may not be the man that Celtic go for. Kufios. So there you go. Morning, Baz. Do you think Celtic will get full Scottish Cup allocation at Snake Mountain? Yes. Yes, I do. And if they don't, Celtic have a right to get 20%. There is no. The Rangers tried to go down the road. We'll let the police make the decision. Funny handshake stuff. The police went, no, fuck all to do with us. It's a football matter. It's a football matter. You deal with it. Yous are the ones that shat it. Rangers are the ones that shat it. VAR's in a shed. Yeah, at the back of the lodge in Lanark. No such. Come on, I'm getting off that. If you're not religious, the Huns they're trying to block it. Yeah, I know the Huns will try to block it. But anyway, moving on to the game tonight. It is a must-win game tonight. And when you look at the league, Celtic need to go out in big numbers and score quite a few goals this evening. Because we currently stand that we are 8 goals behind Hearts. I mean, can Celtic realistically win 4-0 against Livingston tonight? Can we beat Aberdeen 4-0 in the game that we have? The game is on Celtic TV tonight. So if you don't have Celtic TV, join in with the watch along. Just join in with the watch along anyway and watch Celtic TV on your dodgy Fire Sticks. And the games coming up that Celtic are on the TV. I'll tell you one thing, it's looking tasty so far for television games. We have Celtic versus Livingston tonight, and then we have on the 15th of February, we have Kilmarnock versus Celtic. That's on Sky Sports. We then go to Thursday the 19th in the Europa, the first round playoff, first leg. And that's on TNT Sports 1, Celtic versus Stuttgart. Are you taking your ticket for that? Are you boycotting? Are you getting behind Martin O'Neill and the boys? And will the Green Brigade be back in? Don't know, there's not long. The fact that the Green Brigade aren't back in tonight tells me that the board are just all absolute nonsense talkers. You know. But anyway, after the Stuttgart game, we've got Stuttgart again on television for the second round leg. That's on TNT Sports 2. And then we go into March. We have Celtic on Sky Sports. Away to Rangers. 2,500 fans or something. 2,000 tickets, I'm not sure. That'll be an interesting one because the time that we get to there, having played Kilmarnock, you're thinking take full points against Kilmarnock. We also have another game in between that. It's just absolutely madness, isn't it? And then we play Rangers and Aberdeen. And then Rangers again, which hasn't been picked for television as yet because they're undecided which game, which day or what time is going to be played. I think we can narrow it down, really. Right, let's jump into some of the comments this morning and we'll talk about score predictions for tonight. We need to be ruthless tonight. Yes, they do that. They need to be ruthless tonight. And we need to score as many as... Baz, mate, what do you think for tonight? Score, say 4-1 or 3-1. I don't think we will concede. Livingston are ranked rotten. I mean, Livingston are way down. Do you know, they've conceded 27 goals in 25 games. No, sorry, they've conceded 52 goals. They're at a goal difference of minus 27. They've had 52 goals scored against them this season. They've only scored 25. So they are scoring a goal a game. Can they score against Celtic? They've only won 1 game all season. They've lost 16 and drawn 8. I think that Celtic need to go out and absolutely hammer them to bring the goal difference back into something that looks like that Celtic may actually try and push at the top of the league. I would rather that we had the game in hand and we were more level on points difference, because if we go into the game in hand against Aberdeen and we're still way off the mark when it comes to goals. I mean, the night that Celtic were playing at Aberdeen, Rangers go out and score 4 goals. Celtic need to do the same. at Celtic Park. We need to make sure that Celtic Park is an absolute fortress when it comes to no goals conceded and as many goals as possible being scored. Kev's going for 4-1 tonight. Joseph Davison's going for 4-0. Patrick's going for 5-0. Livy looks like Brazil versus at Christmas. Yeah, that was under a different manager though, wasn't it? 5-0. Tam 2, Yang, Trusty, Ox, all to score 5-0, says Jimmy. Paul goes for 6-0. Tell me, if you're watching this back later on, tell me your score prediction and who do you think will be first goal scorer? We need to get the goal difference sorted. Livy will part the bus. Yes, we'll see. Is Callum Scott, is he a Hun? I have no idea. More than likely, he's a referee in Scotland through the Lanarkshire Referees Association, so most of that. Had 5-0 at home all season. Hopefully we get it up tonight. I hate when we're playing Livy, it gives me the fear. I predict 6-1. 6-1 tonight. I think Scales will score 2 headers. In the back of his own net. Flying Column says we're not beating teams 4-5-0 this season. Probably 2-0 or 3-1. If we don't beat teams, if we consistently go on the run to beat teams 2-0, 3-1, we're not winning the league. Because I can't see us scoring 2 against Hearts and 2 against Rangers. They're going to be 1-0 games, if anything. Can't see them being big scoring games. I can't see us doing a 3-1 reverse at Ibrox, but you never get. Completely forgot about Dyson. I start tonight as Dyson needs to get his act together. Would you start Tenecte and Yang? That's an interesting one. We'll wait and see tonight. Remember, we will be going live an hour and 30 minutes before the game tonight when the team news is announced. 3-0, Yang and Benji Nigren. Bit early to be drinking, is it no? Are you drinking already? Don't know what you're drinking, but mine's is coffee that tends to go cold at this time in the morning. 3-0 tonight, Yang and Benji. 4-0. Big Tam, first goal. Chilwell says that we need to go for it tonight. And morning. Jump farts, Hibbies now with 2 minutes to go, penalty Rangers. I mean, talking about the Hearts game last night, I mean, it was a terrible game of football. It's a game that 2 teams were just cancelling each other out. With the misses and the missed chances that Hibs had, Hibs created way better and had played way better football. But like I said, Celtic did this a few years ago. You know, they were scraping 1-0 wins, they were down 2-0 wins, and they were getting late goals. Hearts are doing the exact same just now. Danny Cassie, the Green Brigade not allowed back in. The board did not want to speak to them, but they said go through the collective. Now, I don't think the board have spoken to anyone. That's my point, DJ Kev. I don't think as of last night, the board had spoke to anyone. You know, the board are good at saying, yeah, well, we'll talk to people, but not this week. No, you need to speak to people this week. We need to sort things out before the game. We've not got time this week, sorry. But you said you'd speak to us. Sorry, we've just not got time this week. We're too busy. The board can go out and publicly say whatever it wants to get the media's attention, to say that they've put the Palmo tree out. You know, they've said that we'll speak to them. And then they turned the narrative around, but they said no. The board haven't spoke to anyone as far as I'm aware. But anyway, Hearts have to go to Easter Road after the split. They'll get the points back for that. Big 3 points for the Diet Hounds. It was a massive 3 points for them last night. There will be a talking point tonight that will decide the outcome of the Motherwell game. I'm not even interested in the Motherwell game tonight because I will have the score lines up on the screen. on here. This will get all sorted out this afternoon. That was the previous game, and it will have the results of the games will also be up here also. So make sure that you join the watch along for that. And I tell you one thing, I think I hope he does stick with this 4-2-3-1 formation, and I hope Junior Adamu gets some good game time tonight, because we do need as many people as we can scoring goals. Hearts won't go the distance. Leagues is ours if we want it, says Mo. We'll wait and see. Walsh was given fouls for no reason last night and booked Hibs players for nothing. Yes, and he didn't book Hearts players for the exact same fouls. Don't get me started on Nick Walsh. That is a referee. Referees in Scotland have to have their work looked at. Do you know, they have to have 2 seconds. They have to. Surely there is someone in the Scottish game that looks at their performances, because Scottish referees just seem to be. Nick Walsh, there was 2 Hearts fouls last night, and two Hibs fouls. Sorry, 2 Hibs bookings, and there was 2 Hearts players did the exact same thing. No booking whatsoever. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, there's no point talking about it because we know exactly what's going on. But if you say anything about it, put a fiver on Big Ox pulling a hammy. Oh, Robert, thee of little faith. A Adamu hat trick would be class. Yes, it would. Still need someone to take points off Hearts no matter what we do. Yeah, exactly. We need someone to take points off Hearts. But we will wait and see. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'll just jump into some of these comments. Huns will scalp the diets on Sunday. We'll wait and see. Ref handed the Hearts goal. I do remember him smiling at a Hearts player last night when he was given the decision against Hibs. Injuries are part of the game regardless what age you are. Look at our injury list. Yeah, exactly. Albert Kidd's getting warmed up. Let's hope so. I want to know why Hearts got the free kick just before they scored. Any ideas? Listen, there was decisions in that game last night, and watching it as a neutral, there was decisions that went both ways that you're thinking, our referees are rank rotten. They really are a poor standard. Really, really poor. And I mean, the linesman was no better. I mean, Hearts should have got a corner. I'm sure it was Hearts should have got a corner at one point, and they didn't. And the linesman standing right next to it. But then again, the same happened up the other side of the pitch. But anyway, what would be the preferred result on Sunday between the Huns and the Diets? Don't care. It doesn't matter what they do. It's you know, a draw would probably be a good thing, but Celtic need to we need to win, and we need to win big. We need to win comfortably, and we need to be scoring bucket loads of goals. And people are concerned that we're not scoring bucket loads of goals. But with the new players that have came in the past couple of weeks, well, when the transfer window closed at the beginning of the month, could those players make all the difference? Because when you look at it, at the beginning of the season, we were having to rely on Johnny Kenny. We sold Adam Ida, which proved one of the most stupidest things that any Celtic manager's ever done. Why Brendan Rodgers thought it would be a good idea to sell a goal scorer that had scored 30 goals. Now, take away your opinion on Adam Ida. He scored 30 goals in a season and a half. Adam Ida. 30 goals in a season and a half. And people said that he was rubbish. He was not Celtic standard. Brendan Rodgers allowed him to be sold, and we didn't get anyone else in. Shouldn't you be trying to get another player in first before you sell a player? But Brendan Rodgers did it. So Brendan Rodgers' downfall was we then had to go with Johnny Kenny. Now, this was the same manager, Brendan Rodgers, who said at the end of the season before that he'd had conversations with John Kennedy about what to do with Johnny Kenny this season. And it was looking like they were going to put him out on loan to get him game time because he wasn't ready to be first choice striker at Celtic. It wasn't Johnny Kenny's fault he was thrust into that number one position. You know, Brendan Rodgers knew he wasn't ready to be a number one striker at Celtic, but he was forced into that position because of decisions that Brendan Rodgers make. And then, to make matters even worse, we buy a player in Shin Yamada, and he's on £8,000 a week. And he's no better than Johnny Kenny. No better than Johnny Kenny. It's absolutely been an absolute shit show. Baz Rodgers didn't want him to go out. The fan base cried out, blaming everything on him. Well, that's not what I heard. But if your manager doesn't want you to go, you don't sell him. Simple as that. They didn't have to sell him. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we get on with it because it is very divisive, and it's we're just going to go over this all season and probably all summer as well. The history about Rodgers and Adam Kenny, move on. That's the history about well, there we go. This is the same man that wanted the man in. But anyway, Rodgers is gone, and we're left with an absolute shit show that Martin O'Neill has had to try and sort out. Can he sort it out tonight by winning big? I will go over the referees' appointments for the Celtic FC versus Livingston SC, the William Hill Premiership, 25-26 seasons, a regular season, it says. And the referee is Callum Scott, AR1. Linesman number 1 is John Bell. Linesman number 2 is Ross Nelson. VAR is Chris Graham and Gary Hilland on VAR. And then the one for Rugby Park on the 15th. We have the referee for this weekend's game also, just in case you're interested. Kilmarnock, Celtic away to Kilmarnock. The referee is Duncan Nicholson. Scott Anderson is on the line. Alistair Taylor is on the line. Greg Aitken is on VAR, and Ryan Lee is on VAR. Now, Ryan Lee, he refereed us just a couple of weeks ago. He did referee us a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, looking forward to seeing Sriracha and Maeda tonight. Do you think Katie's worth 50 grand a week? Oh, if you jump over to Facebook, I'm sure I put a post up about KT being on 50 grand a week. Do you think he is worth 50 grand a week? He took a massive pay cut to come to Celtic. He could have got way much more down in England. He was on 100, was it 115, 120 at Arsenal. Made a good bit of money at Arsenal over the years. Taking what, over £2 million a year minus tax out of Celtic now. It just shows you. It shows you the state of English football. And this is no disrespect to Kieran Tierney, because he's a fantastic player on his day. But he's not the same player that he was when he was with Celtic in his younger days. And to be fair, if Kieran Tierney had progressed as a player, he would not be coming back to Celtic. If he had got better, and this is no disrespect to Kieran, and Kieran will admit this himself. You know, if you sat down and spoke to him, and do you think that if you sat down with Kieran and said to Kieran, do you think that you've reached the heights that you could have in football? And I think if he sat down and was honest about it, he'd say no. It's good being back in at Celtic, and I want to finish my career at Celtic. But ultimately, I think when Kieran Tierney went to Arsenal, Arsenal had big, high hopes for him. Every Celtic fan wanted him to do fantastic at Arsenal so that he could have been sold on for even more money. You know, he got his dream. He went to Spain, but it didn't work out in Spain for him either. He got injured in Spain. If he had had a fantastic season in Spain, you can guarantee that one of the bigger clubs in Spain would have been putting an offer in for Kieran Tierney. Now, Kieran Tierney says there were other clubs that made moves for him, but ultimately, after a talk with Brendan Rodgers at an event down in London, there was really only one winner, wasn't it? And it was always going to be Celtic. He wanted to come home. And sometimes you do get homesick. I don't. Not a chance. But then again, I'm old on Kieran Tierney. So, do you know, maybe it is good to finish his career. But sometimes when you come back to a club, you don't have the success that you had the first time round. And that could be the kiss of death of Kieran Tierney. We've got him here on a 5-year deal. He will not be sold. I don't think that you're going to get anyone coming in for Kieran Tierney at his age. And he'll finish his career at Celtic. Is he worth 50 grand a week? I don't think so. But then again, it's the way of the world these days, isn't it? It is the way of the world. KT is worth the money. We'll see him come into his own where the new guy's blooded in. The team finally gets its act together. We will win the league. A lot of positivity. No player should earn 50 grand a week. There's others that do dangerous jobs and can't get paid shit money. No player should earn 50 grand a week. Welcome to the real world, Glaswegian. Welcome to the real world. You might have voted for Brexit and stuff, going by that. And because in the real world, shite players get 50 grand a week in England. Bang average players that leave Celtic are on 30, 40 grand a week down in England. Bang average players that played for Celtic on 40 grand a week down south. Yeah, I wish we had an option to buy Sriracha. He's solid. Imagine him in CCV. It would be frightening. Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles are on VAR tonight. Could it? We're going to miss Arajo and Sriracha when they're gone. Wish we had an option to buy. Yep. Celtic have got a massive summer. KT could have went elsewhere and still got at least 70k a week. He's only 28. I admire him coming back to Celtic at his age. He has struggled a bit, but the team have struggled. And it's a shit show. It's also a different era playing with different players. Comes out for over 5 million for Kieran Tierney over the 5 years. It's more than that because he's on 50 grand a week. That's about 2 million a year, is it not? No sitting working that out now. Shane Duffy's on 35 grand a week, and look at him, he was shite. Exactly. Right, that is me done and dusted for this morning. We've got plenty of bang average players being paid over the odds. Shin Yamada's on 8 grand a week. If you want to talk about shite players, who on earth puts Shin Yamada on 8 grand a week? Anyway, dry your eyes, you only get what you pay for. If you want quality, it costs. Exactly. If they don't give Martin a job higher up in the club after this season, it's criminal. The Motherwell gaffer interview the other day was interesting. I've never watched it. 11.5 million over 5 years. See, I knew it was closer to that. Adam Ida's on 40 grand. Exactly. Adam Ida's on 40 grand a week. No. Just because you made a song up for Shin Yamada, he's now on 8. There's nobody in that league that he's went to. He must be the highest paid player in that league. There's nobody in the second division in German football getting paid £8,000 a week. 11 million over 5 years for Kieran Tierney, worth every penny. Anyway, I think so. If you are just watching this back, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Casper gets his in burgers. Oh, right. I am done and dusted. I shall see you this evening. I'm not expecting any major breaking news this afternoon. I will be back an hour and a half before the game tonight, where Celtic entertain Livingston. I wonder how many fans will be in the stadium. And I wonder if the fans will make some noise for the boys. Even though the Green Brigade are still not back in the stadium, it is up to the fans who go to games to motivate the team. And they'll say, it's up to the team to motivate us. No, you're a paying fan. You go, you sing, you make a noise. That's what you do. Don't sit and rattle crisp papers. On that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. Shin Yamada's £8,000 a week for not playing his best jobs to see other teams in the world. Shin Yamada's ranked rotten. £8,000 is nothing, says. And 5-0 tonight. 8k, I thought it was more like 20. Have a fantastic evening. Day, night, wherever you are. I don't know what time it is. Pressing wrong buttons and everything here. See you tonight.